everyone. In this episode of the Tombstone Tourist, I'm walking around the grounds of the Tennessee State Capitol in downtown Nashville. And today, I'm going to be visiting the final resting place of President James K. Polk and his wife Sarah, who are actually buried here on the Capitol grounds. President Polk is one of three presidents buried here in Tennessee. The others are Andrew Jackson, who is buried just a few miles from here at the Hermitage, and President Andrew Johnson, who is resting at the Andrew Johnson Nashville Cemetery in Greeneville, Tennessee. The Polk graves are located on the north side of the Capitol, and looking down from above, I could see that there's a lot of construction going on around the tomb and at several other locations around the Capitol grounds. There's an opening in the fence, and I eventually made my way down to the final resting place of our 11th president. James Knox Polk was born on November 2nd, 1795 on a farm near Pineville, North Carolina. When he was about 11 years old, the family moved to Tennessee. But James returned to North Carolina to attend the University of North Carolina, where he was an excellent student, and graduated with honors in 1818. After graduation, he returned to Nashville and studied law, and eventually established a lucrative practice in Columbia, Tennessee. He developed an interest in politics and was elected to the Tennessee House of Representatives and became a close friend of Old Hickory, Andrew Jackson. In fact, Polk was such a close ally of Jackson that he was often called Young Hickory. In 1825, Polk was elected to the United States House of Representatives, where he served until 1839. He was elected Speaker of the House in 1835 and served in that capacity until October 1839, when he resigned to become the 9th governor of Tennessee. In 1841, Polk ran for re-election, but was defeated by about 3,000 votes. He returned to his law practice in Columbia to ponder his political future. He ran again for governor in 1843, but was once again defeated by slightly more than 3,000 votes. With his political future uncertain, Polk continued to practice law in Columbia until 1844, when he decided to pursue the Democratic vice presidential nomination. Everyone thought that Martin Van Buren would probably be the Democratic presidential nominee, and the only thing left for the convention to decide was who would be the vice presidential nominee. But things didn't go as planned, and the convention became deadlocked. After 8 ballots, both Martin Van Buren and New York Senator Silas Wright withdrew from consideration as the presidential nominee. With Polk being the favored vice presidential nominee, he became the compromised presidential candidate. There was no uniform election day in 1844, and the states voted between November 1st and November 12th. James K. Polk narrowly won the election with 49% of the popular vote. On the way, he became the first person to be elected president, despite losing his home state of Tennessee. It should also be noted that he also lost his birth state of North Carolina. During his time in the White House, several important events occurred, like Texas, Iowa, and Wisconsin became the 28th, 29th, and 30th states to join the Union. The Oregon Treaty was signed, giving the United States clear claim to land below the 49th parallel, and the war with Mexico ended. Gold was discovered in California, and the Department of Interior was established. When he was elected president, Polk pledged to serve only one term, and he was true to his word. He declined to run for a second term, and on March 1st, 1849, Zachary Taylor was inaugurated as our 12th president. President Polk left Washington on March 6, 1849, and embarked on a month-long tour of the South. During the tour, the president started feeling ill. Doctors attributed his illness to a bad cold and exhaustion. He endured and finished the tour, arriving in Nashville on April 2, 1849. After one final reception at the State House, he and Sarah settled into their Nashville home called Polk Place. In early June, the president's health began to deteriorate rapidly. It was obvious that he was suffering from more than a cold. Doctors attending him were concerned that he had contracted cholera. On the afternoon of March 15, 1849, President James K. Polk died at Polk Place with his wife and mother at his side. He was just 53 years old. President Polk was originally buried at Nashville City Cemetery, but according to his wishes, he was soon moved and reinterred at Polk Place. Sarah Polk continued to live at Polk Place for 42 more years. When she died on August 14, 1891, she was buried at Polk Place with her husband. But their home soon fell into disrepair, and in 1893, the remains of President James K. Polk and his wife Sarah was moved from Polk Place and reinterred here on the grounds of the Tennessee State Capitol. Polk Place was demolished in 1901, and today the Capitol Hotel stands on the site. As recently as 2017, there's been some serious consideration given to moving President and Mrs. Polk to their family home in Columbia, Tennessee. But so far, that move has stalled, and they still rest here on the grounds of the Tennessee State Capitol. Adjacent to the Polk graves is a large equestrian statue of another Tennessee president, Andrew Jackson. A similar statue to this one stands at Jackson Square in New Orleans, and another one next to the White House in Washington, D.C. As you can see, there's quite a bit of construction around the Jackson statue, and I couldn't get down to it, so this is the best I could do. There's also a statue of another Tennessee president, Andrew Johnson, who became president when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. But due to construction, I couldn't get anywhere close to that one. And with that, I'm going to end this quick visit to the Tennessee State Capitol and the grave of our 11th president, James K. Polk. If this is your first time here, I hope you'll consider subscribing, and a thumbs up is always appreciated. Thanks to everyone who is already subscribed. I recently hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I really can't thank you enough for your support. So until next time, remember, life is a wonderful journey. Be sure to take time and enjoy it, and I'll see you down the road. So long, everybody.